Hello everyone and welcome to another Wavelength series. My name is Waveney and I am your leadership mindset coach, and I help leaders like you not only to survive but to lead with influence. And so here's the question. Are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Yes, fabulous. So today, what I'm about to share will liberate you. I know that you have probably heard me said this, but it will liberate you because sometimes, many times, as high performers and high functioning leaders, we tend to sometimes think that when we are going through challenges and circumstances that we are the only one who seem to be going through things of that nature. And I want to tell you today, it's not true. Sometimes we may feel isolated, like we're the only one. Also, like there's no one that we can share with. Sometimes the people around us, our friends and family, they are well meaning, but sometimes they don't understand. And so I know that this episode today will liberate you. So today I want to speak about challenges and uncertainty and pressure in a particular context. And what I really want to share is the reason why I want to share it is because some of you may be, because of the situation, because of the environment, you may be secretly doing these things that I'm about to share later on. You may be doing these things and you're not aware of it, and you're doing it because of the environment. And so you may start to question yourself, and it doesn't come about organically. It comes about as a byproduct of what is happening in the environment. Because let me be very clear with you that the true test of a leader it's when you are going through a tough time. It's when there are periods of uncertainty. If you want to know if you are a great leader, you don't know that. You can't measure that against when everything is going well. You have to look at when things are not going well, when there's that difficult conversation, when there's that difficult situation, what do you do? And that's really the true test of leadership. But I wanted to bring this topic to the forefront because you may be questioning yourself in unhealthy ways. And when that starts happening, you're really undermining your own credibility, you're undermining your trust, and you downplay your successes. And so that's the reason why I know this conversation will liberate you and why it's also important. So what may be happening, and we're talking in the context of a challenging situation, an environment that is high pressure, an environment that's filled with uncertainty. So what many leaders find happening is that what was once their strength, their edge, their competence, the thing or things that got you from where you were to where you are now it's being questioned, now it's being used against you, and you seem to find yourself in a strange place. And it's not coming from you, it's coming from persons in the environment. And it could be your boss, most likely it could be your boss's boss, it could be your peers or whomever. But one of the things that you find is that what the competence, what was your edge, what is your edge, what is your skill, your experiences, the things that you show up and do every day now becomes a problem. And so it's weird because you're you. You're operating and functioning in the way that you know how, the way that you've been taught, the way that you've garnered all those experiences, right? Those great experiences. And your performance reviews, the feedback from previous leaders that you've had, or from a different team or your peers, would suggest that, hey, you're on the right path, until all of a sudden your competence now becomes the thing that is questioned. And it's a very disheartening feeling. It's a very lonely feeling. It's a very strange feeling, because at first you're not really sure what's happening, right? You're not really sure what's happening. And you sort of get confused. At first, you're confused, like, what is going on? I'm doing and being the same way I am. I haven't gotten any bad feedback, and no, I'm being questioned, and no, what was my edge? What was the skills that I'm so proud of, the experiences that I have, the way I do my job? It's now being weaponized and questioned. And for someone, the fact that you're listening to this, I know that you take pride in what you do, and you put your heart and soul in what you do. And to find yourself in this sort of situation, this strange place where what you do is being questioned all of a sudden, it is confusing, it is disheartening, and very demotivating. But I'm gonna help you. And so what usually happens in this environment is, what's happening is, you may be, and I'll give a couple of examples, you may make recommendations, for example, and these are recommendations that you would normally make, and all of a sudden it becomes a problem. Or there may be a situation, you may ask questions, or you may implement or execute a particular process, and then it's a problem. Then it's all wrong. And this is something that you have been doing, that you know to be true, that has worked for you before. No one else has a problem, but all of a sudden it's a problem. And because this is happening, you're now being labeled a troublemaker, or your loyalty is being questioned, right? Your loyalty is being questioned by senior management. Like, whose side are you on, right? I've had that happen to me, and this is why I understand where you are. And it's a very strange place, and it feels like, what is going on? Like, and what tends to happen is, you try to prove yourself. Anyway, you try to prove yourself, you try to do all these things. I'm getting ahead of myself. The other thing that might happen, and this is happening, is your emails, for example, your emails are shared with persons who don't have context. So you may be sending a regular schmegular email, or that has some instruction or has some sort of something, and all of a sudden other people are included in this email that really don't know the history and the context, and all of a sudden it becomes a thing. And you're probably sitting back like, what is going on? Again, your competence. Your competence is being weaponized and questioned. The thing that gave you your edge. And all of a sudden, you start feeling your trauma responses may be kicking in, right? So you want to fight back. You want to, you freeze, you're stuck, you don't know what to do. And stuck means, like, you don't know if you go left or right. if that's the right move. And it's a very uncomfortable place to be. The other thing that might happen is your name comes up in rooms that you can't defend. So someone might meet you, or you might hear that your name came up, or someone might meet you who said, oh, I've heard so much about you, can you tell me about X, Y, and Z? You may have had this happen to you, or have this happen to you, and so, or you may have all these three things happen to you. Again, your competence, your credibility, your reputation, that thing that has given you the edge, that got you to where you are, is now being weaponized and questioned. And it is a scary place. It's a time when, like I said, you could feel very lonely. You might have so much chatter from your friends and family. Some people telling you, oh, leave that job. Other people saying, cover yourself, or respond like this. And all these things may be going on with you. Let me just check my notes to make sure. But what if there was a way? What if there was a way that you could ground yourself? What if there was a way that you could, in the midst of all of this that's going on, that you could still feel confident and not question yourself? Like I said in the beginning, you start to question yourself, and those questions isn't organic, meaning they're not just coming because you're being reflective or anything like that. They're coming as a byproduct of what is happening to you. And as I mentioned before, your trauma responses may be kicking in. Not maybe, they're probably kicking in. And there's the freeze one, so you're stuck, you don't know what to do, go left or right. There's the fight one, you want to fight, you're becoming aggressive. You want to run away. You suddenly decide, hey, this job isn't for me. I don't want to do this anymore. I've been thinking about leaving anyway. I'm a great cook, so I think that's what I want to do. And everything that you've worked for, had for, and the passion that you now have is being affected and impacted because this is happening to you. And what usually happens is people spend time. You spend time protecting that leadership identity that you have. You're spending time in survival mode, and you might be proving. So fighting back also means proving. You're proving yourself. You're gathering evidence. You're trying to show. You might be saying, hey, well, my last 6 performance appraisals, this is what this person said. You're spending time doing all these things. But the problem with that is you're spending time on outwardly. You're spending time on things that you really don't have control. You don't have control of the environment. You don't have control of that toxic boss. You don't have control of that peer. You don't have control of that new space or that new team that you may be headed, because pressure and uncertainty and our challenges look different, but our responses are almost always the same, right? And so you're spending time doing that, when what you really need to do is to spend time and ground you. You need to spend time with you. You need to spend time to get it right inwardly. And this is what we talk about when I talk about self-mastery, emotional mastery, self-leadership. These are the things that we talk about, that I mean when I speak about these things. Because here's the truth. You mightn't want to hear this, but this is the truth. You cannot control other people. You can't control what is said about you, but you can control you, and you can emerge in a more powerful and more calm and grounded way, right? And so this is something that I will be sharing more on in my masterclass. So I have an upcoming masterclass that I want to share 3 costly mistakes that the most capable leaders make under pressure. And it's important that you attend this masterclass, because after this masterclass, we're going to talk about a group coaching that I am spearheading, that I'm hosting. And I would, if this is you, if any of this speaks to you, then you need to be in that first cohort. And the name of that would be Leading Under Pressure. But first, we're going to have the master class. We're going to have the master class on Thursday, April 23rd. That's next week, Thursday. If you're seeing this after, then you need to be in this master class, because I will share with you the mistakes and how you can rectify it, like what you can do. We're gonna go deeper into like these aspects. And so today I just want to share with you that this is something that may be going on with you. You may be in that environment, you may have all those challenges, but I want you to know you're not alone, right? You're not alone, and there is a way. But I really hope that you take from this that this sort of awakens you, and also to show you that focusing on the external isn't going to work. And this is why you are so burnt out, you feel so tired, because you have your work to do, right? You have your work to do, and you're also running PR for yourself. And I am by no means saying don't defend yourself, and I have to put it that way, or let someone walk over you. But there's another way to do that. There's another way to stand in your power and your strength, right? There's another way to do that, because situations will come and go. I always tell people that whenever they run, and this is my belief, whenever they run from a particular situation, you're going to meet it again down the road. And I am by no means saying that if you are in an environment that is breaking you, and that your health is a huge problem, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying to you is that pressure and uncertainty and challenges and difficulty, it's a part of leadership. It's a part of leadership, and this is how you grow yourself as a leader. This is where you'll get even a better edge, a more sharper edge, a more it adds to your credibility, it adds to your confidence, and I want to show you how you can do that. So I'll link the masterclass below. Thursday 23rd April at 7 p.m. on Zoom. If you have any questions between the time, then please feel free to reach out. Until then, I will see you on another wavelength. Bye.